All right, here we go. Week 2 of the Taijiquan calendar series in February. And we're breaking down transition form. Okay, we're looking at the footwork here. So we have a couple of drills coming out of the form because you have footwork opportunity, you have a kick drill opportunity for training, and there's also a settling of the wrist. But here you can see I'm making a lower body Qigong drill. I'm connecting my hands to my dantian. I've got a pong there in my chest, so there's still a structure there. This is what the transition form looks like. A little bit of settling of the wrist. You turn back, turn on the heel. There's a takedown in that left elbow and a groin slap there as well. So what I want to do is move into a false stance there and then into a mountain climbing stance. And then I'm turning the waist, turning on the heel. The kick comes up and I sit back. All the while I'm trying to stay low. You can see I rise and fall here a bit. You typically want to stay at the same level. So for martial purposes, if I was throwing that kick, I wouldn't want to rise up, but just something I do for Qigong, just to try to do the whole body, engage the whole body. Now we're looking at the upper body drill. So I'm keeping it in Ma Bu. I'm not turning on the heels. If I was doing the lower body as well, I would turn that right foot out, which you can do. Just remember that if the feet are parallel and you're twisting from left to right like this, it's going to put more strain on the knees and the ankles and possibly the hips, anywhere where there's tightness in the joints. So there's an opportunity for massage in that sense. Okay, so martial purposes here, this is blocking, covering the groin, the hands coming up for a strike. You settle the wrist there, and this turning and coming back is a following drill, and then their elbow is the takedown. Okay, we're looking at Pong now. So there's a Qigong drill in the Tai Chi Qigong set, and it has to do with Pong. There's one that's repeating Pong, and so I've taken that and made a couple of variations here. So it's interesting here. What I discovered was when I started turning to the left and turning to the right, it started to feel like Tai Chi ball, which is very interesting because I think Pong is quite linear. When you manifest and lock that elbow right here, it can feel quite linear, especially with that when you lock the arm, there's a straight line. But we're talking about the body movement. So a lot of opportunity here for waist turning and chest and spine opening and closing, and just trying to coordinate all those movements so that the body moves as one for this lock. It's a lot going on there, a lot of subtlety to explore, which is one of the reasons why I like the Qigong drills. Now we're omitting the arms, and this isn't necessarily for Pong. What we're doing is looking at the chest and spine bow. I mean, this is, yes, important to have Pong. You need that flexibility, and you need the sense, the embodiment of that principle, rounding the chest, arcing the back. And when we look at An, we'll look at how you are able to use this to evade This is how we can look and feel the spine bow. You see how I have one hand on top, one hand on the bottom? When the spine bow opens, the hands spread apart. When the spine bow closes, the hands come together. I add a little bit of twisting just to kind of go from one side to the other. I'm on the left, go on the right, and now I'm just doing a little waist turning left and right. Here, the chest. I put my hands at the top of the chest. You can see my neck waves there a little bit. So quite healing and beneficial there for the joints in the neck, and then any tissues there in the shoulder joints. So many different benefits there in a self-massage aspect. Anytime you're opening and closing the chest, opening and closing the spine. And then this also sets us up foundationally to manifest and use the sound body principle for applying the posture of Pong. Now I'm doing this in a horse stance. Typically when you do it in the form, you're in a right mountain climbing stance, which feels different. For the sake of Qigong, I really like this waist turning, just keeping it simple, keeping a high horse stance, feeling the arms and wrists and fingers very relaxed. And now I'm starting to turn to the side, from left side to the right side. All right. Now we're looking at roll back. We're going to spend a lot of time with these. I didn't talk about Pong Lu Jian in the first part. I knew we would be able to come back and talk about Pong Lu Jian. There's so many things, I feel, and I think it's just there's so many things to talk about, include, and ponder, and keep discovering. So we're going to continue to come back, and I'll try to just give an idea of how I experience the postures and then how I experiment with the postures. So what I do when I'm coming from Pong for rollback is I close the chest and have a sense of the elbows coming together and pushing off the back leg that advances me forward and sort of closes the distance as I can reach. And then this reach here is wrapping around the arm and sitting back, pulling back. One, you can pull back, or two, you can ride the energy as the opponent advances forward. In which case you just yield and redirect, neutralizing the energy. All right, so we're looking at the upper body essentially. But what we should be keeping in mind is that the lower body is rocking backward and forward. So there's a weight shift there. There's a weight shift forward there. Forward, back, and forward. Okay. And it's just subtle. For the most part, I mean, if you just want to practice the upper body of Qi, all you got to do is turn the waist, neutralize a little bit if you want, going back into rollback, and then just skipping the signature and going straight into Qi, in which case here, you're working on the root, working on rooting that press right here, this press. So you're looping the drill, coming back for that press, and making sure that you settle the wrists properly. Yeah, there's a thenar crest, I believe, if I remember correctly. I wrote it in the description. All right, well, that is the second week of February in the Taijiquan calendar series. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you soon.